Excuses are not an option. It was really interesting now that we've come out of lockdown, the people who made excuses versus the people that didn't. There are quite a few people, that had the same mentality and mindset that I had. If you don't have access to the training equipment because everything's been, purchased and gyms are closed, the people that, took additional means to find a way to train, they have progressed so much further forward in terms of, training progression, strength, looking, outside the square in terms of answers. Yeah, it's really interesting now because now we've gone back into training at a gym. You can see the people that just completely gave up during lockdown and did absolutely nothing. A lot of them are now struggling to get back into a set routine. They're just, struggling to, find the love that they once had for their sport just because they've been out of routine for so long. The people that, didn't make excuses and continued on, well, they've appreciate so much more, the training facilities that they now have at their disposal. And other people like myself, not going to take for granted what I had. I had to build a lot of the stuff. I always had a bench press, barbell, and weight plates. That was a staple that I bought, 10 years ago, for the simple reason, training at home in case I was time poor, was always something that was sort of important to me. And, if you enjoy what you do and it really is your hobby, you should invest into hobbies that you enjoy. You'll see people invest into all sorts of, weird hobbies and other bits and pieces, even cars to that extent. People continually, upgrading and modifying things like that. But as soon as you say, oh, I'm going to spend $2,000-$3,000 on a home gym, people just, look at you as if you're a little bit crazy. But, they have no problem spending that same amount of money, upgrading their car, or, just buying, extras, or, they might go out and buy a new gaming PC. So, don't take your hobbies for granted, especially when it comes to fitness, health, and well-being. It's such a important, aspect of life, especially moving forward when so many things in life are against you. For me, the stones was something I knew about ages ago, but never really dabbled in. Now it's a part of my training that I really enjoy, and I'm going to continue to do so. And now I've got like a decent collection of stones outside. I've built, my power rack, as I said. I've built the farmer's walks. I've built the yoke. I got a few logs there as well for overhead press and carrying. And the list is going to slowly continue to grow. In terms of my home gym, it's pretty much complete. I don't actually need or want much else apart from a few more calibrated plates when mates come over to train, because I don't really have enough to have 3 people in my garage all trying to lift heavy. We just have to keep taking the plates off, swap them around. In terms of bars, I might buy an additional squat bar. But for the most part, I'm going to, summer's here, I'm going to continue training outside. Not going to take this for granted. If anything, I'm probably going to buy a few casts so I can make some of the Atlas stones, go and get a barrel so that I can, load them up onto that. Probably build a outdoor platform as well to save the grass, but also, it gives me the ability to train outside. I'd like to do some of the axle deadlifts and other things. For me, I have a powerlifting competition coming up hopefully in March, if not April. So I'm going to make the most of what I have outside in terms of conditioning as well, because it's not as taxing on the central nervous system compared to a few of the traditional barbell movements. But getting back to my original point, there really is no excuse. Like, you just have a look at the collection of stones. You can pick them up so incredibly cheap from, a lot of the local landscaping places. Here we have this, it's similar to eBay, it's called Gumtree. A lot of people just list stuff on there for free as well. And, you could go on there, have a look at for stones, other bits and pieces people are getting rid of. It just takes a little bit of, imagination and creativity. I mean, if you didn't have the finesse to build the farmer's walk handles, you could get, a pair of logs like I have, cut them to the same length, put some handles on them, and you have some makeshift farmer's walks. It's so much better than making excuses. You might get an additional one for your overhead press. between, pressing heavy load overhead, carrying farmers walks, each hand, stone, shoulder press. You got stone rows, you can do squats, you can do curls, you can do front raises. You just need a different, collection, different sizes to, suit your strengths, wants, and needs. So, the people that, just continually, whinge, say, oh, I got no equipment, no this, no that. If they were really dedicated to what they wanted to do and what they wanted to achieve, they will find an answer. Where there's a will, there's a way. And that's sort of always been, my take on it when it comes to training. If you want to do something, if you want to progress, if you want to be, the best that you can be, you're going to find a way to do it. Excuses just don't cut it for you. And a lot of the people, as I said, that have now come back into the gym that, held these prior beliefs and excuses, for me, I can also, assess in terms of they're never going to be my true competitors. If they don't have the willpower, the drive, the ability to look outside the square and find ways to achieve their goals, they're never really going to be my competitor. They might lift on the same platform, they might be in the same weight class, but for the long, stretch of time when it comes to true progression and strength, they're never really going to be my competitor. And I've already seen that, over time. This is my 14th year of competing in powerlifting. So a lot of the people when I first started as well, there's maybe only one or two people that are still lifting when I first started. And the individuals, one of them is a really good powerlifter and he's continued, throughout the game, and he's in the super heavyweights. And there's one other guy in the lightweight classes who's taken a little bit of time off to enjoy other things in life. I think like surfing and some of his bike riding and the rest of it, but he's come back into the sport, but he always continued to lift. He had a passion for it and a drive. He didn't just, let it sit by the wayside. So, if you guys are really serious about your sport and progression or just health and fitness and enjoy it, I strongly, suggest you get a setup, either home gym or you can make it a makeshift setup like I have outside. Any questions, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, have a great day.